You're online, just kind of watch on. This is going to be cool. We're trying something today.
I ain't got to do nothing. Why they trust me to do this?
There's hands all over the place.
Right here.
Good morning, church.
Good morning.
Good morning, y'all. Just wanted to let you know that if you guys needed a bite to eat, there are pastries over there, and we do have coffee and water and stuff. We're gonna go ahead and get started this morning.
We're going to stay with them for one song if you're online with us. So just kind of worship along.
Yeah, that.
I want everybody online to be able to see what's going on, though. What it takes to pull this off.
We worship the God who was. We worship the God who is. We worship the God who evermore will be. He opened the prison doors. He parted the raging sea. My God, He holds the victory. There's joy in the house of the Lord. There's joy in the house of the Lord today. And we won't be quiet. We'll shout of praise. There's joy in the house of the Lord. Our God is surely in this place. And we won't be quiet. We shout out your praise.
Y'all sing along with her.
We sing to the God who heals. We sing to the God who saves. We sing to the God who always makes a way. Because He hung up on that cross, then He rose up from that grave. My God still rolling stones away. There's joy in the house of the Lord. There's joy in the house of the Lord today. And we won't be quiet. We shout out your praise. There's joy in the house of the Lord. Our God is surely in this place. And we won't be quiet. We shout out your praise. We were the beggars. Now we're royalty. We were the prisoners. Now we're running free. We are forgiven, accepted, redeemed by His grace. Let the house of the Lord sing praise. We were the beggars, now we're royalty. We were the prisoners, now we're running free. We are forgiven, accepted, redeemed by His grace. Let the house of the Lord be praised. There's joy in the house of the Lord. There's joy in the house of the Lord today. And we won't be quiet. We shout out your praise. There's joy in the house of the Lord. Our God is surely in this place. And we won't be quiet. We'll shout out your praise. There's joy in the house of the Lord. There's joy in the house of the Lord today. And we won't be quiet. We'll shout out your praise. There's joy in the house of the Lord. Our God is surely in this place. And we won't be quiet. We'll shout out your praise.
All right, church. Good morning. That's just exciting to be able to try some new things and let you be able to be in both places at the same time. That's pretty cool, right? So I just wanted you all to be able to see what's going on in both places and how we're able to do church both locally and here we are globally. Literally, Pastor Raphael's watching in Guatemala. That's what makes us global. We're not trying to puff it up or nothing, but Pastor Raphael down in Guatemala and his people are watching. And so here we are in a global situation, being able to preach the gospel both locally, nationally, internationally. So it's pretty cool. You know what? I geek out over this kind of stuff, to be able to tap into Skylar and have her join us, and then be able to just come right back to you here online. I'll be down on the beach next Sunday, so we're going to broadcast live from down there. Hopefully, the Wi-Fi down there at the hotel, we're so thankful to be able to be in that building with Diamond Head. But we don't really know how the Wi-Fi is not that great, so we'll see how it goes. Just bear with us, and if you're down there, I'll see you at Diamond Head, and if not, I'll see you right here online. We'll see how it goes. So let's get started this morning. By way of announcements, I think I announced last week that our final town hall or town council meeting to get our zoning done was last Monday. I might have said that wrong. It's tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. At town hall. So if you're local and you want to go see it, you want to speak for us. We've already done 2 public meetings. This is our 3rd. We don't anticipate any issues, but you always want to be there and support. So if you're down there, go see. If you're online, you can watch it. I don't think you can participate online, but you can at least watch what's going on and see what's said, and see us get that all go ahead. That's our final test. Everything else is ready, done, mostly. I mean, everything. It's just moving forward. This was our final hurdle across to get that zoning on that front half done, so that the developers can build the house lots up front. So here we are, ready to go. I want to look today at sort of a concept that I've done in the past, but just maybe from a different angle. It's really been on my mind, and I don't say that in a pun. You'll know that in a minute. About changing our mind, changing our mindset to fix the trajectory of our life. In the medical field, Sherry Ann will geek out because I always come home talking about something, and she'll go, "Okay, Nurse Sean, what are you talking about?" I'm not a nurse yet. She is. I'm just learning, but I geek out on it, especially the mind stuff, especially the neurons. And I was watching a video. A video popped up this morning or yesterday, and it was Neil deGrasse. I don't know if you know Neil deGrasse. He's a big scientist, great mind. And he was quoted as saying, "You know what? Maybe the Earth really is flat." And there was this whole video about him talking about the Earth being flat, and I'm like, "What? Stop!" And so I click on it. Of course, I click on it. Why not? And I'll tell you why I clicked on it, and you'll see it in a minute, because you're probably just like me. And so I'm watching it, and I'm like, "Man, oh." Well, then all of a sudden he stops. The video stops, and it pans to him in the present day, and it was what's called a deep fake AI video of Neil deGrasse, but it was flawless. So the whole premise of his actual video was to say just how hard it is to tell the difference in reality nowadays online. And it's so true. I will constantly get somebody around me and they'll go, "Did you see?" And then we'll look and, "Are you sure that's right?" And I'm just the cynic. I don't believe anything, no videos. I mean, if it's not the actual person's website or YouTube channel, I'm just not going to watch it. And that was what's funny, is because that was actually Neil's page playing that. So that's why I jumped in there, but at least he straightened it out. And so one of his big questions, he went to a scientist and he's like, "What does deep fake mean?" Right. And so the scientist explained it, because it comes from deep learning. You and I have this innate desire for deep learning, and deep learning is all about your neural pathways, the firing, the things that give you excitement, desire to learn, and those sort of things. It's all about that pathway in your brain that interconnects the neurons together and makes this path to you get deep into or an understanding of something. And so what happens is that once you get these pathways going in a particular direction, so you believe something, you desire to learn something, and you're in it to win it, right? You're talking about it, and you're just gathering all the information you can. What happens is every time you get into that subject, dopamine fires in your brain, and dopamine says, "Yes, you're on the right path." Okay, and so when dopamine says you're on the right path, you do it again, over and over and over, because you know that if you go down that path, you get a surge of dopamine. So deep learning is rewarded by dopamine. Here's the problem. People know your algorithms, whatever you've been looking at on Facebook, people know what you're after. People know what interests you. People know what's making your dopamine fire. So they'll create stuff that the number of people around will click on. And by clicking on it, you get a dopamine fire, right? It could be an antagonist. It could be something that's like that flat earth. Neil says it's flat earth. And I'm like, I don't like people who think it's flat earth. That's stupid, right? And so I'm going to click on it because I'm going to get some learning. I'm going to get some dopamine firing, or I'm going to get some sort of excitement from it to maybe to argue. That's possible. Arguing gives some people dopamine. You may know some people like that. But so what he says is, so deep learning is about dopamine firing. Deep fake is faking something to make your dopamine fire. I'll give you another example. When you wake up in the morning, what is it? And this is questions we're going to ask this morning. What is it that your mind goes to first? What is it that you've trained yourself to do it, right? You've taught yourself how to get the rush, how to satisfy whatever longing going on inside of you. And I'm talking about neurologically. Many of us will go and we will get to a reel, REEL. For those of you who are older like me, a reel is a little clip. It's sort of a teaser. Guess what? When you see them, dopamine fires and you're like, yes, that's what I want to see. So you click on it and you watch it and dopamine fires again. And so as you start to scroll, I don't know if any of you know this, but you see a theme in all of your reels that you're watching, right? The reason is the algorithm knows that that's what you want to watch. Your brain knows I get excited when I watch them. And so I feel good about life, right? Have you ever been doing it? You're scrolling, then all of a sudden you're like, what am I doing? I've got to stop. I need to get going. That's your dopamine fix being satisfied. But you'll sit there. And the problem is the longer you do it over a period of time, the longer your sessions are before the dopamine says, we're satisfied. Just watch yourself. It'll happen. But here's where we're going to go today. So all that to say, your mind, what you think about, what you desire, pushes the trajectory of your life. It's just science, but the Bible backs it up. Okay. We just know that. Hold on. We're going to be looking at 2 Corinthians 10. So if you want to go over there, that's where we're going to be. And we're looking at what the Apostle Paul sort of lived his life out. Okay. And we're going to look, maybe we'll do it for a few weeks. Next week, maybe I'll keep on going with it and we'll bring up another thing of how Paul, because what we see Paul, Paul changed his life. Okay. He went from Saul to Paul. That's a big change. But do you know that just because you change something about your life, your mind doesn't change, right? Not all of a sudden, because Paul had these neural pathways built into his life that he always went down a particular direction. That's why you can see him say some sort of almost mean things, right? It's like, oh, you're Paul. You shouldn't really be saying it like that. Well, guess what? He still saw some places because not all neural pathways had been fixed, especially if you look at Romans 7. Y'all remember that verse? I love that verse because it makes Paul look confusing sometimes because he sounds like me. He says, I don't do what I know I'm supposed to do. Sometimes I do what I'm not supposed to do. That the do verse, I always call it the do verse. That's Paul going, well, I know I'm supposed to go in a particular way, but I'm just built, right? I'm just programmed. You ever said that about yourself? You're programmed to do a certain thing. Yes, you are. But you're not innately programmed that way. Most of the stuff in our life, you and I have programmed ourselves. Look, we can fuss about Facebook and Instagram and all that, and we can fuss about the algorithms and the things that it feeds us because we've taught it. But listen, without that, you would have still done the same thing. You would have made a path. I'm sorry, I almost choked on myself. You have made a path. I said this example a long, long time ago. We used to have in our house in Kentucky, and many people are like this, or maybe we want to talk about houses. We just talk about, have you ever been to a public place and there are sidewalks, right? But people will take the path of least resistance and they will cut a corner where there's a sidewalk that goes this way and then this way. People will go this way. they'll cut that path. And then you can see it. You can walk up to it. You can see, well, that's where everybody else goes. Right. And so let's just say if it's your own house, you would do that and you would cut across the lawn and you would make this. And over time, you would see that it would get matted down. Right. And that's the path that you would go. Typically, you will come out of your house and you'll just take that new path. You've taught yourself. That's just the way I'm going. I don't even have to think about it. I'm just going that way. That's a neural pathway in your brain in the same manner of thinking. Did you know that it takes over 100 days for you to change that, for you to walk out your door, look at that path and go, you know what? That's not the right path. I'm not going that way. I'm going to turn and go this way. 100 days is what science tells us it takes. The Bible says that as a man thinks, so he is, so he lives. So as you think, then your mind, your personality, your body, your actions, your play, your just everything about you goes in that direction. It's just built that way. But we're going to see as Paul, what he says is, we're going to see him capture wrong thoughts. Okay. Just like that. When you walk out your door and you see that path that cut through the grass and you've made a mess and maybe your wife is like, you need to stop going that direction because you're messing up my lawn. I don't know if your wife's like that. Mine doesn't really care about the grass, but you have to stop it and take that. That's a wrong thought. I want to go the wrong way. Nah, I'm going to stop that, change it and go the right way. All right, anybody catching on? Are you starting to see it? That's exactly what the Bible tells us to do. And Paul starts to do it. He grabs, because here's what he says over in 1 Corinthians, or did I say, I'm sorry, 2 Corinthians 10. Sometimes I get messed up. He says, for though we live in the world, we do not wage war as the world does, right? The weapons we fight with are not the weapons of the world. On the contrary, they have divine power. And he says the word power, and the word power is in all the translations because the word power comes from the word dunamis. And what's really cool is that exact translation of the word dunamis means miraculous power of God. That's how the Bible uses it. See, the Bible didn't just talk about weird stuff. It always talked about God. Dunamis, the magnificent or the miraculous power of God. We get our word dynamite from it. It's miraculously powerful, right? But the weapons we fight with, they have divine power to demolish. He says to destroy strongholds. And I told you what the stronghold is before. Many times a stronghold was built in the center of a city. It was about had walls that were like 20 feet thick. And they would put the important people right in the middle of it, right? And they would protect them so that the enemy couldn't get to them. Mally got me a new mic and I'm going to hit it. So, and that's what the Bible says is that, that there are strongholds that you have to fight against. So in this scenario, you're on the outside of the stronghold, right? You're fighting that stronghold. Or maybe we can just say you've been put inside the stronghold and you need to fight out of the stronghold. So the stronghold is a bad thing in the way that Paul's talking about it here. So what goes on is that what's the devil do? He tries to keep you boxed up in there. He tries to shape your thinking just one lie at a time. He will feed your mind stuff and you'll think on it. He'll say, you can't trust people. There's nobody you can trust. Me, I don't trust anybody on the internet. Now, I don't know if that's real. I don't know if that's right. I'm just saying that's what I've been taught. Don't trust anybody on the internet, especially, right? Here I am on the internet. I know. Yeah, you'll never succeed. Yeah, he's been telling me that one for a while. Absolutely. Positively. You're always going to be broke. Told me that many times. You're never going to have a good marriage. Yeah, he tried that. We had to dig deep, man, because the devil wants you to believe it's okay to walk away. It's okay to move on and you've done this long enough, whatever. Sherry and I, man, I told y'all that last week. We dug and we said it was never an option in the beginning. It became, and then we fought. We gonna fight. We always go. Yes, it's a fight. It always is. Not a fight between us. It's just a fight because the devil doesn't want godly people to be a good example in marriage to the world. He just doesn't want it. He'll say, God doesn't hear your prayers, right? You ever thought that? I know I have. Man, I don't think God's listening to this. He'll say, God doesn't care about you. He'll say, you're never really going to make a difference. Has he ever said that to you? You're insignificant. You're never going to amount to anything. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So how do we battle in my mind. Listen, we got to demolish these arguments and every pretense. It sets itself up against this knowledge of God, because the knowledge of God is totally different, absolutely, positively backwards from what the enemy says. And so we're going to look at that, and we're going to see, because through all this studying that I've seen, here's what I've noticed. You can change it. If I broke it, then I should be able to fix it. Or I should be able to find somebody with enough knowledge to help me fix it. And I'm going to introduce you to the guy who's got the knowledge to help you fix it today. And we have broken it. We have. A lot of times. We've allowed, just like that stronghold, the important people allowed others to put them in the stronghold and to barricade them in. We've allowed the enemy to put us in this stronghold and to hold us there and to keep feeding us what he wants us to hear and to see and to believe. We've allowed that, which means we can get out. We can fight back. We can get out of this stronghold. And a lot of people, and we'll talk about science too. And just like I said, that Bible verse that as a man thinks, so he is. Science is saying that a lot of our things in our life, even some stuff that, now I'm not saying everything, okay? So just bear with me. A lot of our behavior, cognitive behavior psychology says that a lot of the things that we are or do or are labeled is because of the way we think. Some relational challenges. You ever met somebody that's just bad relationship after bad relationship after bad relationship? You meet somebody and they've had like 5 bad relationships and they're like, I just keep meeting the wrong people. And you just want to go, you know what? There's a common denominator. There's a problem here. And I don't know if you understand. You're the problem, right? But it's not them as a person. It's their thinking. It's what they think they need in these people that they're drawing themselves to. That's the problem, right? They're not broken. Their thinking is broken. And they've put themselves or allowed themselves to be put in a stronghold to be able to just not get to the right people, the right person, the right relationship. Some say that even some forms of anxiety, we're doing it. Listen, I'm living that one, okay? I will create anxiety. I have anxiety sometimes, but it's because I've allowed something to speak into my mind. And I used to have, when I first started nursing school, I just called it test taking anxiety, right? I get stressed out. I have a test Tuesday, right? And I used to just get totally stressed out about it. And then I realized, wait a minute. And Sherry Ann, God bless her, she's not very compassionate, but on this area, she's totally compassionate. But in this area, not so much. I'll say, I got this test and I don't know. And she'll be like, don't be stupid. You know this. You know the stuff. You do good. And she feeds these positive right back into me. So she actually is very compassionate, just not the way I want. I want her to go, it'll be okay on me. Right. No. She just says, stop it. Stop. And she's even said before, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I mean, harsh, but true. Because I'm the one telling myself, you're not good enough to pass the test. You haven't studied enough. And if that's the case, just study some more. Duh. I mean, there's only so much you're going to know. She said, there's only so much you're going to know. There's nothing you can do about the things you don't know, the things you haven't learned, nothing to do about it. So just go take it. At the end of it, it's going to be over. And you know what? Every time I take a test, I get the same exact feeling when it's done. I just have taught myself, I'm after that feeling. That's my dopamine. My dopamine is when the test is done. I answer number 50. Cross it. I don't go back anymore. I don't second guess myself. Number 50, crossed in, fold up that test, hand it in, and walk out. Go get me some breakfast because it's really early in the morning. But that's a way of thinking that I had to change. And I'm not totally there yet. I have a test in 2 weeks I'm still anxious about. So it's, I got 100 days. Remember, it takes 100 days to change it. I'm not quite there yet, but I'm getting close. That path has been built into my life. I'm creating that anxiety, that worry. Look, I'm not going to diminish some worry, okay? Because some people it attacks. There's like these problems in our brain, and it attacks it. And you need something to flip that switch. That's where medicine comes from. That's why we're doctors and nurses and all that's out there. I'm not talking about all those. But some of us, and even some of those folks, can change the way they think with the knowledge of God, with the help of the guy who says he's got you 100% of the time. We can change it. If you dwell on your problems, the world is bad, it's getting worse, your problems are going to overwhelm you. Instead, you can look for solutions. Can y'all hear the gunshots in the background? Very often do you get to preach with guns in the background. It's pretty cool. Maybe you always feel like a victim, right? If you always feel like a victim, guess what? You'll likely become the victim. In every scenario you look at, you feel like you're going to be the victim, you'll become the victim. I mean, somebody has to play that role. Might as well be you, right? But I just want to ask you, when you wake up in the morning, what do you think about? I think I started it and I didn't tell you. What do you grab? I used to say, what do you grab for? Maybe you need to grab for your Bible first. Can I be real clear and transparent? Still today, with the fight for Facebook in my time, for my time, Facebook wants my time. I still would rather, buckle up, I still would rather scroll through dumb videos. And I say dumb because they give me nothing but dopamine. I would rather do that than read the Bible as much as I scroll. Be honest. I taught myself to grab for the Bible and to read it first. But halfway through my readings, usually every day, I start to speed up because I feel if I check this off my day, then I can go get my dopamine from my Facebook reels, my Instagram posts, whatever they are, whatever I'm looking at, whatever I'm looking for, I can get it. I'm not actually getting the dopamine from his word. But you know what? You can, and I can. I can actually just constantly dig in, and it will be the thing I desire. But you gotta, and I gotta make changes to those pathways. I've got to stop. I really do have to stop making the decision to even look for a while. You can always go back. You can always grab a little bit and then realize you don't get your dopamine from it. You're just going to get some you might just entertainment from it. And before you out there and say, well, I just look at it for entertainment. Nope. It's giving you a rush. It's giving you a surge. You're getting something from it, or you'd never, ever do it. And sometimes that entertainment is your dopamine. So, pause. I'm not on you about Facebook. I'm on you about making changes in your life. Okay. So I want you to look at how you contrast your mindset. Just take a little test. When you wake up, do you immediately go to panic, anxiety, fear, right? Those first thoughts. Do you wake up and your mind drift towards fear? What could go wrong today? I'm worried about the state of the world, the direction of the world. I mean, do you go, and when I say, are you grabbing for the news? Are you going to the news to find out what's going on in the world so that you can either be fearful or argue or feel good about what somebody happened? You ever watch these videos to where somebody attacks from the side that you're on and they say the things that you would like to say to somebody? Don't lie to me. I do. You see it and you go, oh, got him. Dopamine, right? And I get to watch people get what they call them, shattered. So-and-so shattered somebody. I get to watch people get shattered and I feel good about it. Oh, we straightened them out. No, we didn't. It's just your dopamine firing. That's why you went for it. That's why you're after it. That was a pathway that you've got built in your life. You might want to change it. I hope these guys run out of shells over there is what I'm wondering. I may not be able to hear it. I don't know. So is that where you're at? Or do you find yourself waking up, having a fear and casting it right towards God? Because the Bible says, cast your cares upon the Lord. Do you immediately do it? A fear comes, cast it over. He's got it. You know what? I'm not going to worry about it. Right? in those test things, Tuesday morning, I'll have to wake up. I will wake up. My first thought will be, oh my God, it's test day. I'm going to cast that off. I'm going to hand that to God. And I'm going to say, thank you for allowing me the time to prepare. And I did it. And I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to go and I'm going to take it. Listen, nursing school tests, they're minuscule in relation to the other things I know you all are dealing with, others are dealing with, family member. I know. But in your world, whatever you're thinking about is a big deal, right? And you can cast those cares and those fears on to him, no matter what it is, right? Second thing, is your mind drifting towards the negative, or does it drift towards the positive? Do you find yourself waking up negative or critical of people? Remember that story when I told you I like to watch a video where somebody gets shattered, right? Are you thinking about how other people think in a negative way? I can't believe they did that. I can't believe people do this. Listen, the world is broken. The world is fallen. Things aren't supposed to surprise you when it's that negative, when they are that negative, right? All this stuff in woke society or whatever people want to call it. There was a bug. That's not supposed to surprise you. You're not supposed to get all bent out of shape over it. You're just not, because the Bible said it was going to happen. But do you think that way? Do you immediately go to the negative thoughts, critical, believing the worst instead of believing the best? Do you look at your day and say, oh, it's going to be hard, it's going to be bad, times are tough, I'm always so busy, I can't get everything done, there's not enough of me to go around, right? There's not enough time to get my schedule done. The world's going to hell in a handbasket. Just a negative thought. Is that you? Or do you wake up with positive faith, right? And again, things are difficult. Absolutely. You're not going to wake up and things aren't going to be difficult. Are you going to be able to remember that maybe Christ is with you? That you can make it through this day because Christ is with you. That he strengthens you. That he's going to help you overcome. And just because things are bad in the world, I serve a God who's going to work all that bad out for good for those who are called according to his purpose. Wow, it's a Bible verse. Absolutely. Can you relate? Are you getting it? Are you smelling what I'm stepping in? Right? I'm out in the woods. I got to say stuff like that. Are you like that? Does this ring a bell? Last one. I want you to think about, are your thoughts more worldly, right? Or of the temporary? You and I are believers, and we're taught, and we believe, according to what we follow, we believe that this place is temporary. This planet that you and I live on is temporary. Do you find yourself constantly, look, I turned my thing on, constantly worried about the things of the world, right? Even though it's temporary, because my power button's on the bottom. I mean, think about it. We get all but yes, I know we live here. Of course, we got to live through it. Of course, we got to live in it. Paul says the same thing, but it's still temporary. Can you make your mind drift towards the things that last forever? To heavenly things. I mean, what are your thoughts more concerning about what's going on in the world than what God is doing in your own life? Not just what's he doing in the world, but in your own life. I'm not saying you just in your life. Concerned with what he's doing. Because you know what? I serve a God. We used to have this video. We still do a welcome video. That we serve a God who's active, who's living, who's active. And we believe that I believe totally that God is active in my life. And if I think on those things, if I look at what he's doing, I've told y'all this, as this whole thing has progressed, this church thing has progressed. We just call it the church thing, right? Hurricane Ian started the church thing. And as it's progressed, I've been able to get bogged down. I've been able to be anxious. I've been able to be upset. I've been able to be fearful. I've been able to be all those things. But I've also been able to look. I don't always do, but I'm able to look and ask, what is God doing? How is God working? How is he moving in my life? How is he being living and active? Here we are. He's living. He's active. He's producing fruit in my life. It's tough. It's tough. but he's doing it. And I can change the way I think about it. And I can just always look at how he's working and living and being active in my life. Or I can worry about what's going on in the world around me and my situation. I can worry about how you pay the bills. Sure, I can. I just had this conversation with a couple of guys that are on our team. And we were meeting and talking about, FMCC coming along and being a partner and all that stuff. And, and things got a little crazy or got a little squirrely with money and stuff. And I got real bogged down in it. Man, I just went to them. And at the same time, we were talking about the finances of the church, right? And one of our guys is like, we need to do this, we need to do that, we need to worry about, take care of this. And I'm like, yeah. But listen, you can ask Ron Furr and Rick Good. Over the years, we've always had this pull, right? To where Pastor Sean is like, don't worry about it. I'm the guy teaching people, don't worry about it. And they're like, but we need to worry about it. And I'm like, we don't need to worry about it. And God would just come and he would fill us up. Not overflow. He never gave us enough money to just overflow. He would just fill us up and we would keep on. I had a meeting a few months ago with our accountant, and he's like, I don't know how you're going to do it. I mean, we were literally, we talked about it. We were down to like $3,000 in the bank with $5,000 worth of expenses. And I'm like, not going to worry about it. Now my mind wanted to go, worry about it. This isn't working. You need to do something else. You need to shut this place down. You need to whatever. Just an actual pathway that the devil wanted me to follow down. And I'm like, no, you know what? God's been doing it for so many years. Why would he stop now? And so we had a meeting the other day, and the accountant was like, listen, I don't know. Pastor Sean has said it. Your people, man. It's not just the people. It's God coming through. And I can look at what God's doing in my life, and I can see that we're still here today. We're still living. We're still eating. We're still putting gas in the cars. We're still paying the insurance. We're still doing all those things. Dude, we have 2 locations. Now, I know that sounds, but you have built 2 locations. You all helped build this studio. You all helped fund the people who are preaching down there. Skylar's pulling around electronics to do music. Now, y'all are... you just taking care of that stuff. We have to pay insurance on that property, on a vehicle or 2. Man, we've got stuff going on and on and on. Listen, y'all are affording me to be able to travel down there next week to be in-house. And that's just part of the deal. It's just all there is to it. We've got to be able to do that because that's where we are in our plan. I could get bogged down in the fact that, hey, we could just not, right? But man, when I stop and I change that pathway and I think about what God's doing in our life, church life and my life, I'm like, nope, I got to keep going. I'm just going to do it. I got to. And that path becomes easier to follow. So is your life always moving in the direction of your strongest thoughts? Let me give you an assignment. We're not going to keep going this morning too long, but I want you to have an assignment to go away from. I want you to talk and think about the stronghold in your life. What is the biggest one? What's the biggest thing that you keep saying about yourself, right? Or that the enemy says about you and you believe, however you want to say it. What is it that you need to conquer, that you need to stop thinking in that way and change the path of your thinking? What is it? Listen, inadequate. I'll be more transparent for you because I want it to just flag in your brain. Inadequate. Sharon and I were the other night, just 2 nights ago, man. I mean, we'd had 3 nights off together. That's very rare. It really is. Right. And that I was home at night and she wasn't working those nights. She's working last night and tonight. So that's why you didn't see her today. But we had that. We were coming up on that 3rd night, right? Our final night. And man, I had some inadequate thoughts. Turns out when you have inadequate thoughts, you become inadequate. You do. And she could see it. She could feel it. She saw the results. It just happens. Right? The anxiety, we can call it anxiety too, of the new week that was coming, that she was going to be at work and I was going to be away from her. She's my dopamine. She really is. because she's such a powerful presence in my life. I'm so proud of that woman and what she is, who she's become, and what she does. Tuesday is her anniversary 1 year as a nurse. You have to be an active full-time nurse for a year to get out of a nurse residency program. Hers ends Tuesday. Oh my God, what a celebration. Y'all need to send her some notes, send her some thanks, send her some love. It's just amazing. But I say all that to say, I'm the one that ruined the night. My mind ruins the night. I don't mean ruin, just, just a small part of it. Just ruined it. That's okay. We recover. But I'm learning, even in those areas of my life, change that path, change that thinking. Don't get bogged down. So see, I wrote that one down. And that's a strong, I'm fixing that one. And when the thoughts are going to come, I'm going to change them. So I want you, that's your homework. Write down whatever it is, though. Just pick one. I mean, don't go for all 75 at once. Just go to one. What can you make a change in your thinking about? Identify the stuff in your life. That one, at least one, and make the change this week. And I hear people that come home from work, they've had a bad day. You ever had a bad day at work? It could be a bad day at school. You come home and you just want to relax. And instead, something's going chaotic or haywire at your house when you get home. And you launch. You get in this funk that just exacerbates the situation. I used to do that. Sharon will tell you, I've made some really good changes in that too. Man, it sounds like today's just a mirror of me, but that's okay. You can adapt. I mean, you can relate. How about if you just make one simple change when you're feeling that way and you, as you're coming home, hey, God, help me that when I come in the house to take away my expectations and just let me be. And instead of coming in and maybe snapping at your wife or whatever, just walk in and give her a hug. Give him a hug, whatever it is. Just change something. Make a click, right? And then do it over and over and over again until it is what gives you scientifically dopamine, spiritually, God's presence in your life. I believe they're synonymous. Because when God is alive in our lives, when we feel him, it is the ultimate rush. It is the ultimate feel good. It's the truth. The Bible says that the truth will set you free. The truth isn't a concept. The truth is a person. His name is Jesus, and he'll set you free. Talk to him when things are bad. Talk to him when things are good. Make that straight and narrow pathway towards him, and it will affect the trajectory of your life. We have the power. Just like we said last week, we have the power, and that power's name is Jesus. Let me pray for you. And let's go attack this thing called life next week and see if we can make just one change. When you get that rush from making that one change, make another. It's pretty cool. God, I thank you for giving us the ability to be both here, there, and everywhere with you. Help us to share this word with others by living it out in our lives, by showing the world that you offer this peace, this truth, that we don't have to believe what the devil says, what the enemy wants us to know. We can change this path. We can renew our mind with you. Help us as we live it out each and every day. In your name we pray. Amen. I'll be seeing y'all next week, both here and on the beach. See you then. I don't really know how to turn this off good, so bear with me as some movement.